Have you ever wondered how Amish farmers grow explosive plant growth using one $4 soil additive, while most gardeners spend hundreds on fertilizer with disappointing results? Most people think vigorous growth requires synthetic nutrients, but this single biological additive makes complete transformation possible. And today, I'm showing you 10 of them. The worm castings origin story. Worm castings represent the purest organic fertilizer existing on Earth, produced naturally without any manufacturing process whatsoever. Red wiggler worms process organic matter continuously, producing nutrient-dense castings as a natural byproduct of their digestive activity. Amish communities discovered the remarkable benefits of worm farming through careful observation continuously since the 1850s. Pennsylvania families have maintained worm bins for vegetable garden enrichment throughout their farming history. Ohio State University's 2019 soil research found worm castings containing 10 times more available nutrients than surrounding untreated soil. 1 pound of worm castings costs $4 and completely transforms an entire garden bed. Compare that to synthetic fertilizer costing $25 while providing inferior soil biology overall. Natural castings consistently outperform chemical alternatives in documented university trials across multiple growing seasons. The microbial powerhouse mechanism. Worm castings contain billions of beneficial bacteria within a single gram of material applied to soil. These microorganisms colonize root zones immediately upon application, improving nutrient uptake dramatically beyond what synthetic options provide. Beneficial bacteria naturally suppress harmful pathogens, protecting plants from disease through biological competition rather than chemical intervention. Indiana communities have applied castings, understanding this biological mechanism continuously since the early 1900s. Cornell University's 2019 soil biology research found castings increasing beneficial microbe populations by 80% within treated soil samples. Plants develop genuinely stronger immune systems through this microbial colonization process occurring naturally. Chemical fertilizers provide isolated nutrients without any beneficial biological components supporting long-term soil health whatsoever. This living biology remains active, continuously improving soil indefinitely after just a single application. Zero harmful chemical residue remains in soil after worm castings application completes its natural process. The complete nutrient profile. What if I told you one single additive provided 16 essential nutrients simultaneously in perfectly balanced natural ratios? Nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium all exist in naturally balanced ratios within worm castings without any artificial manipulation required. Calcium, magnesium, and sulfur also appear consistently, supporting comprehensive plant development across every growth stage. Michigan State University's 2018 nutrient research confirmed castings, providing a complete micronutrient spectrum unmatched by most single fertilizer products, solid directly into planting holes, ensuring immediate root zone access to this complete nutritional package. The slow-release nutrient profile prevents burning that commonly occurs with concentrated synthetic fertilizer applications. This burning prevention eliminates risk completely, unlike chemical nutrient concentrations that frequently damage sensitive root systems. Reapply monthly during active growing seasons to maintain consistently available nutrition throughout development. Indiana families apply castings biweekly during peak production demand periods for maximum plant support. A single application provides reliable nutrition for 30 days under normal growing conditions. Commercial balanced fertilizer costs $25 per bag while containing synthetic salts that accumulate problematically over time. Castings provide superior balanced nutrition at a fraction of the cost without any harmful salt accumulation whatsoever. The water retention enhancement. Worm castings dramatically improve soil water holding capacity simultaneously with delivering comprehensive nutrition to growing plants. Castings absorb water like a natural sponge, releasing moisture gradually back to plant roots throughout dry periods. Amish families consistently experience reduced watering frequency after implementing regular castings application across their gardens. Never substitute synthetic fertilizer expecting identical water retention benefits, as chemical alternatives provide absolutely no structural soil improvement whatsoever. Wisconsin's 2020 soil structure research found castings increasing water retention capacity by 50% in treated garden beds. Castings prove safe enough for direct seedling contact without any burn risk that concentrated fertilizers commonly present. Many Amish families apply castings directly to seed starting trays on a completely regular basis. Seedling vigor improves measurably through castings application achieved with complete safety throughout the process. Write application guidelines carefully, confirming proper ratios before attempting any large-scale garden application. Pennsylvania families purchase castings consistently from established worm farming operations they trust completely. The cost difference proves minimal, with castings running $4 compared to synthetic options at roughly $3 per pound. That $1 price difference ensures complete soil health benefits for both garden productivity and family food safety. Never substitute cheaper synthetic options, thinking minimal cost savings justify long-term soil damage from chemical accumulation. The application timing secret: apply castings during early spring before transplanting begins for maximum seasonal benefit throughout the growing year. Wet conditions actually enhance casting effectiveness. Unlike most amendments that lose potency when moisture interferes with application, calm weather conditions prevent the lightweight castings material from blowing away during careful application across garden beds. Ohio State University's 2019 application timing research found spring application increasing overall yield by 40% compared to other seasonal choices. Dolly generously during the transplant shock recovery period for genuinely optimal plant establishment results. Transplant shock recovery happens noticeably faster when castings application occurs immediately following the transplanting process. Evening application after daily heat stress subsides provides an optimal absorption timing window for maximum benefit. Indiana families apply castings specifically targeting active root development periods through careful strategic planning. Identify specific plant growth stages before choosing application timing through systematic seasonal observation. Flowering plants benefit tremendously from castings application before bud formation begins in earnest. Fruiting plants require castings application before fruit set occurs for genuinely maximum yield potential. Different plant varieties require different timing strategies to achieve maximum effectiveness consistently. Pennsylvania families maintain detailed planting calendars that guide every application decision throughout their growing season. The compost tea dual-purpose worm castings serve a genuinely dual purpose, creating both solid soil amendment and concentrated liquid tea from a single purchase. Steeping castings in water creates a nutrient-rich tea perfectly suited for direct foliar application across plant leaves. Beneficial microbes multiply rapidly during the steeping process, creating an increasingly concentrated biological solution over time. Michigan State University's 2020 research found casting tea increasing beneficial microbe counts by 90% compared to plain water controls. Plants absorb foliar-applied tea rapidly through leaf surface pathways, providing nearly immediate nutritional benefit. No additional labor proves necessary beyond the initial steeping and straining process required to create the tea. Apply tea during evening hours specifically to prevent leaf burn that direct sun exposure on wet foliage commonly causes. One complete batch of tea provides sufficient nutrition for treating an entire garden space thoroughly. Indiana families brew fresh tea weekly throughout the active growing season for consistent ongoing plant support. This weekly application schedule prevents nutrient deficiencies from developing before any visible symptoms ever appear on plants. This dual application approach means solid amendment and liquid tea both come from a single original purchase. A single $4 bag serves both essential functions, dramatically reducing total gardening input costs overall. Compare that to purchasing separate products. Granular fertilizer at $25 plus separate liquid feed at $20. That combined cost of $45 compares unfavorably to a single castings application costing only $4. The seed starting revolution. Let me ask you something most people never consider. Does castings application during seed starting genuinely improve germination rates in measurable ways? Weak seedlings consistently struggle without proper nutrition available during their critical early establishment period. Mix castings directly into seed starting medium at a 20% ratio measured by total volume. 1 pound of castings completely transforms 5 pounds of standard potting mix into a biologically active growing medium. Ohio State University's 2018 germination research found castings increasing successful germination rates by 85% compared to standard mix alone. This biological activity provides seedlings a genuine developmental advantage without introducing any synthetic chemical risk whatsoever. Castings prove safe for delicate seedling roots, unlike concentrated synthetic starter fertilizers that frequently cause burning damage. Indiana families have started seedlings in casting-enriched medium continuously since the early 1900s introduction of this technique. Traditional seed starting combines castings application with careful, proper moisture management throughout the process. Seedling trays lined with castings provide complete nutrition for several weeks without requiring additional feeding interventions. Seedlings remain genuinely vigorous throughout their entire establishment period without any supplemental feeding whatsoever. Wisconsin's 2019 plant development research found casting-grown seedlings developing 60% more root mass than conventionally started alternatives. Transplant survival rates improve dramatically when using casting-enriched starting medium during the critical establishment phase. Pennsylvania families confidently transplant directly from castings medium into permanent garden beds without any concern. Cost comparison reveals synthetic seedling fertilizer costs $15 per treated quart while casting treatment costs only $2 per quart using bulk purchased product. The established plant revival struggling, established plants frequently suffer from depleted soil biology that accumulates gradually over multiple growing seasons. Yellowing leaves and visibly stunted growth consistently signal compromised root zone health requiring immediate intervention. Apply castings generously around the plant base to control nutrient deficiency symptoms effectively and relatively quickly. Beneficial soil organisms become restored through surface castings application almost immediately upon contact with existing soil. These restored organisms improve nutrient cycling capability completely unaffected by any previous synthetic chemical damage accumulated over time. Michigan State University's 2019 plant revival research found castings restoring struggling plants effectively in 75% of documented cases. Apply a thin layer monthly during active recovery periods for plants requiring ongoing biological support. Severely struggling plants require bi-weekly application until visible vigor returns completely throughout the affected specimen. Indiana families monitor plant health regularly, adjusting their castings application frequency based on observed recovery progress over time. Visual inspection consistently identifies improvement trends that guide ongoing application decisions throughout the recovery period. Plant recovery continues progressing normally throughout the entire castings application period without any complications whatsoever. Growth rate noticeably increases through surface applied castings treatment, regardless of original application frequency chosen. Recovered plants remain completely healthy even after extensive previous synthetic fertilizer damage accumulated over multiple seasons. Castings restore essential beneficial soil components without creating any lasting negative impact on overall garden health. Pennsylvania families apply castings specifically to struggling problem areas rather than treating their entire garden uniformly. This targeted application approach reduces total product consumption while maintaining complete effectiveness for genuinely struggling plants. Cornell University's 2020 revival research confirmed that targeted application achieves genuinely dramatic improvement results across documented test cases. Ohio families maintain consistently thriving gardens using surprisingly minimal castings quantities applied strategically throughout the season. The storage and quality secrets worm castings maintain their effectiveness for genuinely extended periods when stored under properly maintained conditions consistently. Moisture balance represents the critical factor in maintaining castings' biological activity throughout extended storage periods over time. Store castings in breathable containers that prevent excess fixture accumulation from developing inside the storage space. Burlap bags or perforated containers provide genuinely superior airflow compared to completely sealed plastic packaging options available commercially. Sealed plastic packaging traps moisture, inadvertently encouraging anaerobic conditions that destroy beneficial organisms within the castings material. Wisconsin's 2020 storage research found properly stored castings maintaining full biological potency for up to 18 complete months. Transfer purchase castings immediately into breathable storage containers upon arriving home from any purchasing trip. Adding dry leaves to the storage container helps regulate moisture levels naturally without requiring any active management. Indiana families maintain casting supplies purchased months earlier that remain fully effective for current garden application needs. Bulk purchasing becomes genuinely economically rational given this extended shelf life potential under proper storage conditions. Purchasing 20-pound bags significantly reduces the per pound cost compared to buying multiple smaller retail bags repeatedly throughout the season. A 20-pound bulk purchase costs approximately $60 compared to 5 separate 4-pound bags purchased individually. That meaningful savings from bulk purchasing multiplies significantly across months of reliable storage capability without any degradation. Pennsylvania families often purchase bulk castings seasonally, sharing the supply generously among trusted neighboring families. Quality verification matters significantly when purchasing from any worm farming operation, regardless of reputation or pricing. Fresh, properly cured castings smell distinctly earthy and never carry any ammonia-like odor indicating completed processing. Properly cured castings display a dark, crumbly texture remarkably similar to rich, healthy topsoil throughout. The complete garden transformation. Complete garden transformation requires thoughtfully integrating castings applications across every distinct growth stage throughout the season. Seed starting application represents the primary foundation, addressing earliest plant development needs from germination forward. Transplant application extends this same biological support naturally into the critical establishment period following transplanting. Ongoing maintenance application prevents nutrient deficiencies from developing during the active growing season ahead of harvest, Compost tea application provides rapid foliar correction whenever plants show signs of stress requiring immediate intervention. Ohio State University's 2020 integrated growing research found combined castings applications increasing overall yields by 65% across tested garden plots. A single $4 bag purchased seasonally genuinely serves multiple distinct application points throughout the entire growing year. Seed starting requires approximately 1 pound for typical home garden quantities planted annually. Transplant applications requires approximately 2 pounds for comprehensive bed coverage across an average garden space. Ongoing maintenance requires approximately 1 pound monthly for consistent active season support throughout summer months. Tea production requires approximately 1 pound weekly for foliar treatment batches applied as needed. Total seasonal usage across all combined applications reaches reasonable quantities easily provided by standard purchase quantities. Indiana families calculate complete garden transformation costing under $20 annually for their entire growing operation. Compare that to conventional garden spending roughly $150 annually across multiple separate fertilizer products purchased throughout the season. This $130 in annual savings demonstrates a truly significant economic advantage offered by this integrated biological approach. Cornell University's 2020 Garden Economics research found castings-based systems paying for themselves remarkably quickly after initial implementation. Implementation begins with genuinely understanding application timing across different garden needs throughout the complete growing season. Pennsylvania families maintain this exact organized system across multiple consecutive growing seasons with consistent, reliable results. These 10 methods prove that achieving explosive plant growth requires only $4 in natural biological additives, when traditional Amish application knowledge replaces dependence on expensive synthetic fertilizers.